think's going to happen to your kids if you don't stand up to it?
That's right.
You know, there is nothing more important in anyone's life on earth now than bringing an end to this nonsense, which in numbers we can do.
Yeah.
But not if we have big butch guys with vibrating jelly-like backbones, frightened of their own shadow. That ain't going to sort it. People have to lose the fear of death. They have to know death.
Yeah.
That we are consciousness having a brief experience called human through a vehicle called a body. But the body has a cycle. We have eternity at the level of consciousness, our awareness. And therefore, at some point, we are going to leave this body.
Yeah.
I bloody hope so. I don't want to stay here forever. Are you going to concede your self-respect to buy, you think, a few more years because you think, well, you know, I might be in danger if I take on these people? Is that what you're going to do? Because you're going to leave the body anyway. And, you know, Martin Luther King made a magnificent quote once. I'll summarize it. He said, if you're 38 years of age, he was at that time, and you're faced with standing up for a great cause, and you refuse to do so because of intimidation and fear, you might go on and live till you're 90. But as he said, the system of breathing at 90 will merely be the physical confirmation of the death of your spirit at 38. And so, you know, we're going to leave this body at some point anyway. And once you lose fear of death, there's nothing they can intimidate you with anymore of substance. Okay, I will kill you if you stand up to us. Well, do it then.
Do it.
Because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And you know, it's this immovable. I am consciousness. I am on an eternal exploration of forever. This is just a brief experience called human. And I'm not going to let a bunch of prats like Andrews and Gruesome Gladys and Fauci and Whitty and Johnson, Morrison, impose themselves on my life, because my self-respect won't allow it. So you say that I can't do this if I don't have your fake vaccine, which is designed to either kill me or transform my genetics. Okay, well, what you tell me I can't do, either I'm going to do if it's possible, or I'm not going to do to get your fake vaccine. Oh, you won't be able to go on holiday. Well, we won't go on bloody holiday then. I mean, this is the point. You know, there's nothing more important than standing up to this. Oh, my kids are more important. Well, what do you think is going to happen to your kids if you don't stand up to it?
That's right.
You know, there is nothing more important in anyone's life on planet Earth now than bringing an end to this nonsense, which in numbers we can do. Yeah. But not if we have big butch guys with vibrating jelly-like backbones, frightened of their own shadow. That ain't going to sort it. And I don't mean violence. I don't mean violence. You don't even have to shout no. You just have to mean it. No, I'm not doing it. Well, we'll do this. Well, do it then, because I'm still not doing it. Yeah. Whatever you intimidate me with, I'm not doing it. And it's an energy. It's an energy. It's a power. But if we use it, we can bring this nonsense to an end, because let's lose this idea that this network, this cult, and all its agents and morons and gophers have power. They don't. The power they have is the power we give them. End of story. And what we see is, or what most people see, is that part of the cycle, that part of the feedback loop where authority imposes its power on the people. What people don't see is the first part of the feedback loop, which is the people give that power to authority in the form of acquiescence. And, you know, if people think of a pyramid, a hierarchical pyramid in a country like Australia or globally, same structure. And at the top of the pyramid is a tiny few people, the inner core of this cult, operate in the shadows. People won't know of them. They stay way out of the public arena. If you can see someone representing the cult, they're nowhere near the top. And I include Gates and Fauci and people like that in this. And certainly Daniel Andrews. I mean, he's a gopher. Yeah. Gruesome Gladys, just a gopher. And so at the top of the pyramid, you've got this tiny few people, inner core of the cult. And they impose their will upon the level below them, which acquiesces to that will imposition and imposes it on the next level. And it comes down. And very soon after you come down from the inner core of the cult, you're meeting levels of the hierarchy, whether it's national or international, that have no idea there even is a cult. They just do what their perceived superiors tell them to do. And down the pyramid it comes. Imposition, acquiescence, imposition, acquiescence. And then it comes down to the mass of the people, the foot of the pyramid. And if we acquiesce at that level to that part of the hierarchy that's imposing its will upon us, i.e. governments, health authorities, chief medical officers, bracket C morons, and the law enforcement, then what we do by that acquiescence is complete the circuit from the inner core of the cult down to the mass of the people, billions. And that circuit completes is a circuit of imposition and acquiescence right down to the population, which means the will of the tiny few at the top of the pyramid is imposed upon the entirety of the population. And it's done by acquiescing to imposition. So, you know, we can look around for solutions. You know, I don't want solutions. I want to remove the cause of the problem. Because if the cause of the problem is removed, the problem must disappear because its cause is gone. You look for solutions, usually solutions lead to more bloody problems, which want more solutions. Remove the cause of the frickin' problem. And the problem is, and has been throughout human history, the acquiescence of the few, of the many rather, to the few. Look in any culture, any period of history, and you'll see that dynamic. The many give their power through acquiescence to the few. And we have an opportunity now, because it's a time of danger, obviously it is. I mean, I have to tell people in Australia that. But it's also a great time of opportunity, because this cult has been operating literally in the subconscious, in the shadows, all this time, manipulating society towards this end goal of total global control, fascist control. And I've been putting this out in over 30 years that this is going on and bringing the from the shadows into the public arena. But it's still not been totally tangible to people. The COVID era, unless you've got, you know, your brain is in a state of seizure, it's been put before you, and it's been made the conscious mind made aware of what's been happening in the shadows. This cult has had to enter the room because there was always going to come a point, I said this over the years, where you can only manipulate under the radar for so long when you want to transform human society, because there comes a point where human society has to actually transform at the level that people can see it and be aware of it. And that's where we are. So we have a great opportunity as well, because more and more these people are putting themselves on public display. They don't want to, but they have no choice. They want to transform human society into a global fascist dictatorship. Then at some point that has to be obvious that that's what they're doing, and we're there. So this is a great time of opportunity as well. But we come back to backbone, and we come back to growing a pair, and we come back to commitment to freedom. How badly do you want freedom? Oh, do you want it a little bit? Well, what would I have to do to stand up for freedom? Oh, that? Oh, no, I don't want freedom much. Well, okay. Well, don't complain when you're living under fascism then, which is basically what Australians are now. I mean, let's hide it. I mean, it is. And the lockdowns through around the world, it's unbelievable. It's not fashion. What do you want? What do you want? People goose stepping down the street, you know, behind a bloke with a funny moustache to recognize fascism? Come on. And it ain't meant to get, this is not a phase. This is this cult running for home, running for its end game. This is not kind of fade away. This is meant to get worse and worse and worse. And at what point in that worse and worse and worse is too much for people to say, I'm not having this anymore. But it is a great opportunity for another reason. And it's a great danger to the cult for another reason. And it's the process, nothing left to lose. While they have something left to lose, they'll acquiesce in the hope of not losing it. When there's nothing left to lose, how can standing up to this be worse than what we've got anyway, and what my life is anyway? That changes the dynamic.
Absolutely.
You know, if you are if you have some army coming at you, and you have a way of retreating, then you probably retreat. But if there's an army at you through the only way out, so there is no means of retreat, then your dynamic changes. Instead of thinking, how do I run from this? You think, well, what have I got to lose? We're going to have a go. And it's time to have a go. And I think violence. I mean, refusing to do what the psychopaths tell you to do. That's all it takes in large enough numbers, and the game is over. And Daniel Andrews and Gruesome Gladys and these chief medical officers and Chris Whitty and Boris Johnson and Joe Biden and Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab will sit out the rest of their lives looking at bars.
Good. That's
prison walls, and because that's where they need to end up. And we have the numbers to do it. Do we have the phone to do it? We're going to find out.